Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the American Investor Show. Please click subscribe if this is your first time listening. From trader and CEO interviews to breaking news about companies you won't hear anywhere else, nobody does a better job at keeping you in the know when it comes to penny stocks. The term penny stock generally refers to a security issued by a very small company that trades at less than $5 per share. Penny stocks are extremely risky, yet they offer rates of return on investment not seen anywhere else. The host, guest, and callers are not registered financial advisors licensed by any government entity, and therefore, the following should be considered entertainment. The host, guest, and callers disclaim all liability in the event any information, commentary, analysis, opinions, advice, and/or recommendations prove to be inaccurate, incomplete, or unreliable, or result in any investment losses. Before investing in penny stocks, you should consult a professional to determine what strategy may be best for your individual needs. Now, without further ado, your host, LaSalle Anungu.
All right, so can you guys hear me now? Refresh. Let me see. Make sure you guys can hear me before we keep it going. I might sound really low though. Do I sound really low? Let's see. Okay, you can hear me. All right. Hey, I don't sound like stupid ass low or anything, right? Okay. All right, so as you guys can see, I changed the whole setup. I figured that we're going to have some issues. As I changed the setup, there was no need anymore to have the chat box because now during the replays, you can see the chat boxes. So there was no need for that any longer. All right, and over the course of the next couple of days, I'll change some things just to make sure, things fit right. It's already looking kind of funny to me already, but it plays nicely so far. All right, so let's keep it going, guys. Today was a dip buyer's day. It was a dip buyer's day on Thursday. Actually, we had the Fed increase rates 25 basis points. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this market, this economy, for the most part, is built on cheap money. And you cannot raise the value of that cheap money. So basically take that cheap money away and expect for the market to continue on the way things have been going. All right. This country is just not prepared to control its spending. I don't understand what's wrong with this guy. We had Donald Trump sign another incredible, ridiculously expensive bill. Right? I don't know what it is about this country, bro. Appreciate you, Yusuf. Thank you, Dr. Butterfly. Shout out to all the people in the chat room. We're not ready to confront the fact that we're spending like crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? We have to control spending. We have to, and this country is not willing to do it. And I want to provide not necessarily detailed evidence, but I want to provide some insight on what I believe could be a sign that we are entering the beginning of what was 2007, 2008 all over again. And it's in the chart. The way to see that back in 2007, 2008, was the Vanguard VNQ Real Estate Investment Trust ETF, VNQ. All right, let me pull that up. Okay, if we look at the VNQ, as we see, it has slowly declined. If you don't know what this is, it's basically an ETF that tracks or buys positions in real estate investment trusts. These are companies that buy office buildings, retail establishments, and other types of real property, right? For predominantly income and some capital gains and some growth, all right? If we look at the weekly charts, going back to 2008, going into 2009, the slump that what we know caused the recession. Now, when we talk about a recession, that's basically what we're talking about. And we put on a 200 moving average. All right. It really kind of starts to calculate back there on July of 2008. We see us starting off beneath that 200 moving average. And then we get the drop, right? We attempted to kind of stay above it. We broke below it, an attempt to hit, and we failed and came down like a mothership. We are back. We are back to where we were in July of 2008. And we are now testing 2-year resistance levels. We are now testing 2-year resistance levels. Now, here's the thing. We haven't been below the 200 moving average this far since 2008. Since 2008. So I just want to put it out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying let's put it out there, because at the end of the day, we did not come to a solution for 2007 and 2008 and 2009. All right, we put a Band-Aid on it, basically. We bought a few companies that were, quote-unquote, too big to fail. We gave a lot of companies a lot of cheap money to do some things with, make some investments with. We basically lowered the price of lending to zero. We gave people benefits to go out and spend money, right? Cash for clunkers and many of the other programs that the government did to, inject money into the economy. So I think these last couple of weeks is very, very telling for the Real Estate Investment Trust Vanguard REIT ETF. And I think it's something you need to pay attention to. And I'd love 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, if we continue to go on this incredible, sell-off, that I can cut this out and say, hey, I warned you. I warned you. All right? So, look, today was a great day. 600 points or whatever it was across the board. But I'm going to tell you this right now, as I said on Twitter. If we do not challenge recent highs, we're going lower. If we do not challenge some of the recent highs we made, we're going lower. 646, Ken, what's up?
How are you? It's funny you mentioned the 2007-8. I had a lot of money in the CGM Focus Fund. That was Ken Heber. He had the hottest mutual fund back then. Mm-hmm. And he was in all the fertilizer names, all the potash and the Mosaic and all. And he wasn't selling, and I got my ass handed to me.
Wow.
I didn't sell. It went down 70%.
Jesus. Whew.
So I mean, I've learned a big lesson from that.
Yep.
Watch those moving averages, and when you see them break, you get the hell out.
Absolutely, Ken. And again, I'm just showing what the chart is showing me. I mean, we're retesting now 2-year lows. 2-year lows. I mean, you got to go back to 2015. This is August of 2015 low that we're retesting here in the next. It could be by the end of this week. We could break beneath that. So CNBC is not going to tell you this. Those are permables, all right? Everything is going to be okay. Everything is great. The fundamentals haven't changed. And you know what? They're right. And that's the problem. The fundamentals haven't changed. The average American hates their job. They're underpaid. They're in more debt than they were in 2008 and 2007. All the MIG jobs, all these job numbers, most of them, 80% of them are MIG jobs, people getting paid less than $20 an hour, no benefits. Things are not better than they were 2007, 2008. We're going to have to, really answer that question. And that should be coming soon if we retest these highs and don't break through them. What's going on, Ken? What else you got for us, man?
I just want to give his name is the engineer. I don't know what his name is on here, but I want to give him the credit with the FUSC because I think he brought this. I know he brought this to your show before I did, but it's been amazing, that stock. It's wow.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know this
tonight.
engineer. Is he from my show? I don't remember.
He is. He's from your show. I don't know. I forgot his name on your show. DD something, whatever. Okay. But he's that's his Twitter handle is the engineer. That people should definitely follow him on Twitter.
Okay.
He has, but I mean, it's just the stock keeps going and going and going. $1.82 it got as high as 210 today, but still it's up 18% today. And from my sources are telling me this should be news tomorrow morning, and they think it's going to pop the stock up to $3. We'll see.
Oh well, I mean, it's really extended here. FUSZ. Thank you, Ken, for bringing this up. I mean, it's really, really up there, man. I don't know how much it's got left, but again, we've been watching it day after day after day. I know some people in the chat room have said, fuck it, I'm going to take a position in, and some people are up nicely along with you. But boy, congrats to you, Ken. I mean, I've said that every time you've brought the chart up.
Thank you.
This has been an incredible hit coming out of the OTCs. I think this is kind of something that's needed, but beware, you know what I mean? Don't be afraid. Take profits here. Because it only takes one, huge holder to say, hey, I'm out for this thing to come crashing down.
That's true. You're right. That is true. It's a small float. But I think 43% of the float's held by insiders, so that's good.
Good.
Well, I know what you're saying. Got to be careful. I mean, I did well with the PRED because I sold. But it's a little bit different. This one, I mean, this company has a huge contract with Oracle.
Okay.
We have that Oracle NetSuite conference on April 23rd coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. We'll see.
We'll keep an eye on it.
The other one I wanted to go over tonight is another one of those biotech stocks. I think it was AYGT or something like that.
AYGT. I don't have an AYGT.
I'll get it for you. I just maybe it was AGYT. AGY. No.
Yeah, I do have a
AYTU.
AYCU.
No, AYTU. Apple Yellow Tom Union.
Okay. A2 Biosciences. All right, so this one pretty low here. All right, so I got to take my moving averages out. But yeah, this one's real beat up. But obviously the last 2 days have been really nice. I mean, I'm guessing this has got to have a pretty nice float as well.
A tiny float. I think it's 10 million. It's very small. And there were 4 Form 4s filed on March 7th to March 13th. CEO, CFO, 220,000 shares at 45 cents. It's not like they bought millions of dollars worth of stock. That's like 100,000, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think it has a little gas in the tank to get to maybe 80 cents. Yeah. If I got it at 60, if I can get it to 80, I'll take my profits and be happy.
Yeah, that's a nice little play here. 13 million shares, 23% gain today. So yeah, that float, it's small. Not as small as it could be smaller, but it's definitely small and quite a run. Nicely, 23% gain on that. Looks like it was a Friday runner as well. So nice play on that.
Yeah, not bad. And remember AKER, we broke above the 200-day moving average. You talked about 200-day moving average, remember, with the BPMX?
Yeah.
That's pretty significant today that it closed above it.
Yeah,
AKER.
that was fine. Yeah, finally you had that. It's been AKER. Let me put the 200 back on it. Yeah, there it is. Nice connect. Crossed it actually a couple days ago. But, you had a real commitment above that 200 moving average with today's price action, 15% gain today on AKER. Nice play.
And I think, what was the volume on that today? 26 million?
Yeah, 26 million shares. A lot of volume. Nice play on that.
68 million in the float. So a third of the float trades, 14% of the float short. So that's something you really want to keep an eye on. That could be an easy cash machine.
And that's the one good thing about small caps, too, is that if the market does come down, a lot of these small caps are quite immune to, macroeconomic conditions. So at the end of the day, particularly these businesses that don't have much to do with, resources or any kind of commodities or anything like that, they can continue running despite what's going, market wide. So, that's a nice play right there.
It really is. I mean, take a look at Apple, Nancy, Tom. I'm sorry, ICE, Nancy, Tom. Another biotech. It's amazing what these can do. That was at $3 in February. Is it 27 now?
Well, give me that ticker again, Ken.
Sure. ICE, Nancy, Tom.
ICENNT.
No. ICE, and then Nut, Nancy, Tom. INNT.
INNT. Okay. Innovate Biopharmaceuticals. Okay.
It's a small float, 20 million, but to show you these biotechs, boy, when you get the right one.
Yeah. When you get the right one, it's a nice mover. Again, I don't know why these are moving, but INNT, I do know about a week ago or so, week and a half ago, it was the biggest mover on the market. It was an all-day mover, too, from low singles. Yeah, here it is, a couple days. This is almost 3 weeks ago now, March. As you see here, went from low fives to double digits to high 14s. And INNT, big day that day. Nice to see it. It's continued to go higher now, $27 a share from that $14 close that day. Insane.
Yeah, it gives me some inspiration with some of these biotech ones that I'm in. We'll see.
Yeah, that's definitely a monster
kill.
Not bad. Appreciate it, man.
So, you were saying about this market. One of the things this other guy, I don't know if you ever heard of Gary Kattenbaum. He has the Business Radio Network. One thing he's been very nervous about the market, saying the leadership is getting more and more narrower. And sure, we can hit new highs, but there are signs of cracks, like you're saying.
Well, my thing is, I don't know where the new highs are coming from.
NASDAQ.
When I look at the NASDAQ, right, I'm looking at the Netflixes of the world, the Babas of the world. I'm looking at stocks that are already, 30, 40, 50% away from their 200 moving averages. So, how much far away from that line can they get? Look at a Netflix.
Yeah.
That 200 is at $218. That's a lot of meat on that bone that could come off and still be okay. So, when people say that can go higher, how much higher? What is the true valuation of that? Is it $600 a share? Would you want to buy $600 Netflix? So it's some really interesting questions that, again, if we don't retest some of these recent highs, right? If we just pull up the QQQ, we're at 164. If we don't break 176, 178 over the next week, this week or even next week, I think you got to sell off here. I think you got to take profits. If we start, seeing that a week from now, we're still in the 160s or we're fighting 170s and we just don't have the strength to keep going.
I like to look at the RYT, the Dow theory, the transportation index, because that seems to help lead the market, and that's been like in a channel as well.
Yes, absolutely. That's another one dangling above that 200 moving average as well.
So we'll we'll see. The 10-year bond, hopefully it stays below 3%. That gives me some comfort that the market can keep. I think this is going to be continued. Like it's in a channel. The choppiness. And there's great trading opportunities in this kind of market until you get a catalyst to take it down. I don't know.
Absolutely, we'll see. And Ken, what would take it down is that getting to 4%. 4% we couldn't handle that in 2007, 2008. So yes, you're absolutely right. That bond's got to stay low because if it continues to go higher, that could be dangerous.
You're right, especially with all the college bubble debt, the people with the credit card debt. You're playing with fire here. If the Fed cannot control that, control the rates. You're right. So. I don't know. It's crazy. It's fun, but you got to be careful.
Thank you,
Enjoy
man.
it, Ken.
Yes, indeed. Look, I'm not as hopeful as Ken is. Ken is on track playing these small caps, so he's pretty immune to what could be going on. But as someone who's really engaged in ETFs and some of these large cap stocks recently, I want to be on top of what could be a very painful slide lower. A very painful slide lower. What's going on, Bo Vosh? This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. I was talking to Bill Betts. Shout out to Bill Betts. Stock guy, what's up? Bill Betts. And nice play on EKSO. What was the cause there? I still haven't heard what happened to EKSO and their Ford situation. Remember, they gave some of the Ford workers their bionic suits. The workers said they loved it, and then we never heard anything about EKSO again. So nice play, 34% gain on it, and I'm not seeing any news to justify the move. So let me know if they clarified their deal with Ford. Obviously, that could be the kind of news that could make it do something like this. Let me know. But back to what I was talking about on TVIX. When you pull up the VIX, it's warming up. And especially when you look at, the weekly. When you pull up the weekly chart on the VIX, this has been something that's been beat up for quite a long time, right? 2017, month after month, right? Every single month was a winning month. Never before in the stock market. You can literally throw it at any shit, stock above, a $500 million market cap, and you were a winner 30 days later. Things have obviously changed. And here we're seeing the VIX slowly working its way higher to test that 50 moving average, or 50 RSI, excuse me. That 50 RSI. And it's only been a couple times we've seen it below. You got to go back as far as 2016. 2016 to see it above that. And, of course, you can go back to 2012. And I believe this TVIX was, I want to say 2010 is when it started. But, be careful. Be careful. I've got a lot of good articles that I put out on Advanced Equity Research, my website, about how to play the breakout in gold right now. I know Bats had mentioned HMNY. If we look at GLD, right? GLD on the weekly, we zoom out of that. This beautiful wedge pattern that I tried to keep in, or thought that it was going to keep in and possibly explode lower. Now we're actually retesting, 2016 highs. We're actually retesting 2016 highs, right? And we've got a few, probably the most impressive leveraged gold play I know, JNUG. We have a play like JNUG here on the weekly that's, behind the 8 ball on that move. That's kind of behind the 8 ball on the move. When we look at JNUG, JNUG is a little bit behind. Now it's working its way higher, right? It's working its way higher. Nice day on JNUG today, 1.73%. But JNUG is a little bit behind, and I think, if we do see that breakout happen, that 181 breakout on GLD, going back to 2016, I think things could finally rev up for gold. Or if we see, bonds go to 4%, which it should be. It should be. That 10-year bond should be 4. It should be a lot higher than that. I mean, this country, You know, we're literally throwing our paper around. We should be paying a higher interest on it for as much debt as we're carrying. Typically, if you got a lot of debt, you should be paying a lot more interest on your paper. This is the only country in the world that has that much debt and pays barely anything on our paper. You know, pays barely anything. If I'm an investor in Iran, Iraq, or Russia, or China, I'm questioning why the hell do I want this paper? If that's me, you know. So people are saying, oh, well, the trade war. If I'm the Chinese, I just stop buying U.S. paper, period. I said, why do I need it? Don't even go to the trade war. Just stop buying your paper. That's what I would do. The best thing that could happen for the Chinese is if we default. That which will never happen because we'll just continue to print money. Right? But the best thing that could happen to them is if we default, which would never happen. Right? Which would never happen. But that's probably the best thing that could ever happen for someone who we owe. Because as of right now, we're just paying interest and paying interest and paying interest. Crazy shit. Yeah, absolutely, Cali Rob. But here's the thing. We're paying for it. We're paying for it because we don't want to have to answer to the fact that, you know, we're going to have to tighten our belt. We have to control our spending. And we're not willing to control spending in America. All right? Our real estate market is rigged. It's really sad. Tops was a reverse split, right? Was Tops a reverse? All right, because I heard Tops didn't Tops get delisted from Bill Betts? Where did Tops get delisted? Yeah, they got delisted from Robinhood, right? So they're not carrying Tops anymore at Robinhood, if I'm correct. So yeah. I mean, obviously they just got tired of it. They're like, fuck it. I mean, this is obviously some kind of fucking scam or just some way to, you know, continue to lose. Right? And Robinhood, you can't short on Robinhood. So I figure if you're a holder of Tops over the long term, you're a consistent loser. And I'm sure they get that data. You know. Appreciate you, E-Man R. Glad you like it. What's going on, Jeff? SLV calls for July. I like the SLV call. I like it. Let me go to my website because I know I got another play for silver that I think is even more aggressive. But I know the liquidity on SLV is nice. What's going on, Bats 919?
Hey, Sal, how's it going, sir?
Good. How's it going for you?
Slow, man. When you're trading, having to hold a stock for at least 30 days. It gets a bit tiring, yeah. My interest in trading is somewhat dwindling, or has been dwindling over the last few weeks.
Oh, so, no, don't say that. Don't say that, man. I mean, wow.
I'm still into it, but it's just like the excitement when I see, you know, people like you, Ken, and all the rest on your group making money day to day. And, you know, when people talk about excellent day trades and I can't be part of that, man, it's painful. But, yeah. You know, I'm hanging in there and trying to, you know, manage things as best I can. You saw today and you mentioned gold. I think I've mentioned this before. Gold, okay, so people must realize that every gold stock is not alike because this is a phenomenon I've seen. Okay, so if you're trading gold ETFs, you're fine. The ETFs look really good, but I've mentioned this before, and it seems like today, like when you say gold is up, if you look at individual gold stocks, notice that I was looking like at the top 20. Obviously, HMY did the best. This is a South African headquartered gold stock. Whether or not, I don't know what plays into it, whether it's the exchange rates, whether, you know, being based in a foreign country makes a difference. I seem to think so.
I think so, too.
If you look at the top if you look at the top performing gold stocks today, only 2 of them were U.S. based. The rest were Canada, and I think South Africa has essentially 4 gold stocks that are listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's very important to take that into mind when you're looking at general gold stocks, because, like I said, only 2 of the top 20 best performers today, with HMY being the top performer at 7.3% gain today, only 2 out of 20 were actually U.S. stocks. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's something to be cognizant of. HMY, man, I've studied this stock on and, for a few years now, where it always hits a bottom of about $1.62, $1.65, and then it bounces. Obviously now it's going upwards of $2.50. It's going to reach PRD levels, PRED levels, probably in the 350s. Or $4. It's gotten there before. So obviously it made new breakouts today, and something to keep a watch over.
Yeah, it looks beautiful on that weekly chart too, Bats. Beautiful stock.
It does. And then an interesting one, which I've actually talked about. Remember when I talked about the OTC holding company, PTGEF? Okay, so that one, it didn't really move that much today, but what was interesting was the options unusual call activity on one of its subsidiary companies, which is Biohaven, BHVN. Now, the spread on this, on BHVN, is horrible, but this thing, they just released some positive data or something that they were doing with clinical trials. This thing was in the 20s. It dropped to as low as the $16 range, and was bought back up quickly, creating almost that bullish belt hold pattern that I like to talk about. But what was interesting was that in terms of options activity, this thing was through the roof. I mean, especially on the $25 strike price. And this is kind of what you want to look for in stocks. You want to look for stocks that have a lot of confidence behind them. I know you were going on earlier on about Facebook and why Facebook was down. Well, Zuckerberg sold almost $75 million worth of Facebook last week. So that's actually quite telling. I mean, when you're in damage control 101, that's probably what you do. I mean, if he sold that much, he must know that, the news of all the breaches and all of that.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be in the shitter for a while, but it's when I'm looking at the paper, right? When I'm looking at the fundamentals and I see a stock that's 60% bottom line growth year over year, I mean, if you're a marketer, there's no better place to be online than Facebook. That's just period. That's facts.
Absolutely.
Right? So there's nowhere else to go. And I just think, like, when I look at the situation on Facebook, I feel like I'm in an episode of Billions. I feel like I'm watching, a company be screwed over by, people beyond, around it, involved in this game, who have, a short bias projection on the stock, and they're just trying to beat it down for them to make money. And I think that's what it is here.
You're right.
We'll see.
You're
what
totally
happens.
right, and it's reflective of the call options. If you look at the volume on Facebook calls, like for May and beyond,
they're going crazy. They're going
actually
crazy.
Very strong.
Yeah.
So it's going to bounce back, just like BHVN. It's one of those stocks where you're used to seeing it at a certain price, and when it goes down, way down below where it's supposed to be, people are like, this is a steal, and they buy up. Especially like for Facebook, forget about Biohaven, because that's a fairly quiet stock, but something like Facebook where, you've got the very, very wealthy people who are in big on this stock is not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
And when it drops that far, that's just an opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
To get
Look
in.
at the candlestick with today's move on Facebook. That's just telling right there. And now here we are on the daily at 30 on that RSI. How long do we expect to stay at those levels? So I think if you were in there today at the 149, the 150 calls, the 152 calls, put some time on it. I think you're going to be a very happy man or woman Christmas Day. You're going to be sitting on thousands of dollars worth of profit by then.
Exactly. And that hammer signal, you can't get any better. That's like a severe hammer signal where the buyers came in and said, oh, no, bears, no, you don't, and drove the price all the way right back up, establishing that very, very long lower shadow. And you're right. This is the bottom. We should see this bouncing back. So I'm totally on the same page with you on that. And with that, that's all I have. So I'll keep up the good work.
Appreciate it, Bats. Thank you so much for the call.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Bats. Thank you so much for the call, man. You and Ken, thank you so much for the call. I also saw Dr. Butterfly. Let's get to your tickers in the chat room. MU. I think you had said you had bought a call option on MU. I like MU here. Let's see if we can get that 58.27 touched. Hammer single with a nice little wick on top. I still think that's a buy right here, and I love the fact the market came back and really bought that up for you. I love the fact that this isn't one of those stocks that it still has yet to come down. So even if we sell off tomorrow slightly, I think MU continues to go higher because it's already sold off pretty aggressively from days prior. All right, from days prior. So MU looking really good here on today's chart. Nice play on that. That MACD scares me a little bit, but again, we got a good candlestick. But the MACD kind of scares me a little bit, but we got a good candlestick out of it. So let's take a look at the hourly real quick. Oh, okay, yeah. I'd love, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful sign here on the hourly chart. As you can see here, we got the MACD cross. So MACD will tend to tell us on the hourly. So it hasn't shown, again, on that higher time frame, the daily. But as you can see here on the hourly, you can see here, nice crossover. It's going to cross over this 50 RSI as soon as tomorrow, honestly, if this continues to go higher. So I'd love it to see, it touch that 58.27. All right. Let me bring it down, maybe even 57.68. It could very well do that. I know sometimes you can have trouble retesting gaps, but I could see this just putting on at least another $2. All right. And you can probably sell that option back into the market with nice profit and quite a bit of time left on that option. You said you can buy 3 MU instead of 1 Facebook. You're right. Absolutely right on that, right? Well, but the volatility isn't the same, though. That's the thing, Yes, the MU is cheaper, but the volatility isn't the same. All right? The volatility isn't the same. The money doesn't come in as fast, right? That money on Facebook is going to come in real quick when it starts to, when it breaks up higher, that money's going to come in fast and heavy. What's going on with Bitcoin? It is what it is. It's a piece of shit. It's an old technology, and we're going to see a replacement Bitcoin develop over the next 12 to 24 months. It's either going to be Monero or some other privacy type coin. But Bitcoin has got to die a slow death. All right. Facebook also announcing they're no longer going to allow you to post any cryptocurrency ads, period, on the platform. That's not good. Or not, cryptocurrency ads, Bitcoin ads, whatever. So let Bitcoin die. Bitcoin will go. We'll be talking 5,000 and 2,000 Bitcoin. And then eventually, within 12 to 24 months, we're going to see a new coin that people are going to hype up and talk about this being the future. And blah. It's going to start off all over again because that's what it is. That's what it is. You said Topps $2 gain. Well, Topps had a reverse split today. All right, Topps got removed off Robinhood. That's going to damage them because a lot of, those kind of traders, buy those kind of cheap stocks like a Tops and things like that. Those are highly volatile. Now Tops is going to have an incredibly small float. I mean, they already had a pretty small float, and now it's even smaller. So we're looking to see how that's going to be. All right, CHS. Let's keep it going. CHS. Chico Foss. It's a apparel and accessories. Okay. All right. Yeah, don't know anything about this business. Give me a call. You know my line. 305-6800-2896. And don't know anything about this business. Again, I can play the J.C. Penney's, the Macy's, the Foot Lockers of the world. But other than that, then I'm playing XRT. Yeah, definitely got to be careful with a stock like Tops. I've seen a lot of guys lose their ass on Tops. What's going on, John Rambo? Seen a lot of guys lose their ass on Tops. See Strikeforce Technologies. All right, so slight pullback today. That's nothing. I mean, look, if you've been playing Strikeforce since last month when we really kind of started talking about it, you're up huge anyway. If you're looking for a replacement to the MU, what is that? SOXL, I think, right? SOXL. Are looking for a Facebook type play in the semiconductors. This is leverage stuff. So this is big moves. This ETF put up 12% today. And, for all of the talk they say about ETFs not being overnight holds, they really are overnight holds. I mean, if you're one of these guys who was in the VIX at, $6, $7, you're up huge, man, especially when we were at those, that 1050, 1080, 1090 level. That's some serious cash over a few like a week and a half. That's some really serious cash. And, the VIX is going to be, an ETF that, will be trading very, very high, especially after this split, if we start seeing some real losses across the board on the markets. All right. XRT looks bullish to you, Bats. All right. And, of course, I'm going to put up another list of, ways to go short the market without necessarily shorting, because I understand that a lot of guys don't have, they may not have $2,500, but let me tell you this, you can still take a short position in the market, right? If this market does continue to sell off. I think this is a bear trap. We could go higher tomorrow. We can go higher for the next 2 days. But I'd love to see where we are a week and a half from now, 2 weeks from now. That's where, then we can really put, cross some T's and dot some I's. All right, about whether or not this bull market will continue. All right. Yes, indeed. We'll see. All right. XPXU. Again, I'm putting an article together on how to, go long an inverse position on the S&P 500. SPXU is the way to do that. Trading now at 1098. If it gets below 10, they'll initiate a reverse split. If it gets below 10, I know that's what they're doing right now. The Direxion, they're doing on 4 or 5 of their ETFs right now because they're trading in the single digits. A lot of funds, fund managers, institutions don't buy stocks under $10 a share. They don't buy single digit stocks trading under $10 a share. And, so they go ahead and initiate that reverse split to get it back up there. Capitalization doesn't change, though, right? So if you got 1,000 in it, you'll still have 1,000 in it. You don't lose when they reverse split. All right, you just lose quite a few shares depending on how much you bought. But the value of it doesn't change. All right? Absolutely, Cali Rob. That's another way, too. Absolutely, there's another way. All right, so these leveraged ETFs, especially if you got a small account, and you're just not going to do the option thing, these leveraged ETFs may be where you would want to put your money, And you don't have to do the 3X. I mean, there's the 2s. There's ones that aren't leveraged at all. All right, there are ones that aren't leveraged at all. You can just buy the, SPY, or there's a cheaper version of that. All right, there are cheaper versions of that. I showed you guys the real estate VNQ. You can buy RWR. You know what I'm saying? This RWR is also another. This is through Spider, the guys who run the QQQ. But as I mentioned earlier, even this one, right? Even this one. Let's go back to that 2007, 2008. Let's show you that 200 moving average, right? Even that one showing very similar signs, all right? Showing very similar signs. So we'll see. All right? Are we starting to fight with a bear market here? The real estate will show it first. The real estate will show it first. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's keep going. Let's look at your tickers now in the chat room. Let's go look at your tickers now in the chat room. Is Stock God still in here? I think he was going to call up today. RNVA wanted to show a trading strategy that he's been doing. I don't think he's doing that RSI one he was doing before. RNVA. Yeah, we talked about RNVA, last week. This is a story that's developing. As you can see here, man, it was really beat up for a long time. It was really beat up for a long time. And as you can see here, RNVA struggling. But if you've been patient, you've been rewarded with a nice chart. 757, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, peace. What's going on, Sal? Stock God, man.
Hey, what's going on with you, man? I know you reached out to me. You wanted to show the people something. What you got for us?
Nothing, man. I just wanted to say hello to everybody, man. Hope everyone's doing well. I kind of, I used to trade a lot of the penny stock stuff, and I took some time away from penny stocks and been working my ass off on the mid cap and large cap stocks, and I feel like the same rules apply when we're talking about risk management. So I just wanted, because I see a lot of people I get a lot of messages, and I think the same goes for the people in your room here. A lot of people in here trade a lot of smaller stocks. Some trade large cap, but I think it's all the same, as far as, risk management goes. And I just think that we're seeing a lot of people lose money because I don't think that they're being taught or understanding risk management within their trades. You know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest thing, and that's why I started my own YouTube channel. I had it before, and I just kind of got away from it and started focusing on what I wanted to really perfect my craft on, and I feel like I got a really good niche. And my channel is about building a small account, basically. Mm-hmm. And I think there's so many traders out here on YouTube and social media, you don't know if they're legit or not. They're always talking about what happens after the fact. They never really show you a live trade. So that's kind of what that's what my channel is about on YouTube is basically showing people a live trade, showing you how to build your account, build a small account, and I use TradeNet. I know a lot of people in here probably, or a few guys in here used to use TradeNet, and I've just been working on my risk management and understanding that if you keep those things at bay, if you keep the risk management, first, that the gains will come. Mm-hmm. And it took, I think it takes a long time for us to understand that we get so wrapped up in the gains. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because you can wipe it all out with a bad trade. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I just think that, that's key as far as I can take a small account, I can risk $60 to $100. Whether that is, let's say that's 400 shares with a 30-cent risk, that's $120 of risk exposure. So that means that if it goes against me 30 cents, then I'm down 120, but every 30 cent I'm up 120. So, I just think that those things it's very important. Even if you're trading with penny stocks, it's all relative. No matter what you're trading, I think that needs to be the forefront. And so that's kind of what my channel is all about. You know what I mean?
There it is, man. And Stock God, I know I've put out your channel again before, but if you want to go ahead, I know you had the moderator thing on your account, so go ahead and post that link again in the chat room when you get a chance, bro, so people can go ahead and subscribe to that channel.
No, I appreciate it, man. No doubt, man. And like I said, if anybody got any questions, man, like we're just trying to help. We're just trying to, I see Sal doing big things, man. I'm following suit, and just trying to show people that there's real people out here that's really trading every day, and that we're not here to take your money. I don't want your money. I want the market's money.
We're not here to take $199 a month from you. So
no, man, not at all, man. And I'm not, and that's the thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with charging people. All I have to say is just prove it. That's what irks me about all these 90% of these traders out here. They can't prove it. And if you go back and look at some of these guys, they don't even know what risk management is. It's either they got a really large account and they're scraping, they're scalping, or they're just playing with paper, and you don't know. And that's the part that irks me. And then we want to hold ourselves accountable when we lose. Well, look at who you're learning from. A lot of times it's who you're learning from is why we're losing. So I'm not here to take your money. I don't care about your money. I want to take money from the market. So win, lose, or draw, I post. If I lost, if I win, I'm gonna show it, man, and I'm gonna be honest about it. I think that I can give people a peace of mind because there's someone out there that they know, like, look, man, this dude out here to rob me. This dude is out here just to show, like, what there is a way to trade on a consistent basis, on a day-to-day basis, and grow your account. I've taken this small account. I just opened it 3 weeks ago. I have 2 accounts, but this is my smaller one. And I've gained almost $1,100 in this account, in a couple of weeks just by only risking $100 on each trade. I got a max loss is about $120 a day. I hit that today, and I turned it off. They're just risk. Then there's rules, and you need to. If we don't have those structures, we'll keep blowing these accounts. It doesn't matter about how much you make. I know guys make $2,000-$3,000 a day. It only takes one bad trade to wipe it all out. So it doesn't matter about the gains. Focus on the risk. Focus on how much you're willing to risk, how much you can lose. And then once you get the process right, the proceeds will come. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. Appreciate you, bro. Stock God. Again, put that link in the chat room, bro.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys. I'll be listening in, man. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So shout out to Stock God for the call. Appreciate the call. Yes, indeed. Yeah, if you take his name and just put it in one word in YouTube, it should pop right up. But he'll put the link there in the chat room. He'll put the link in there in the chat room. All right. Let's see you bats talking about AMD earnings. Okay. Let's take a look at that real quick. AMD down 1%. AMD. So, Bats, you brought up AMD in the past. I've always thought this was a very conflicting kind of stock, right? I mean, it really doesn't have, I look at the chart and I just don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where it's just so ugly looking. I look at that and say, why even bother? So let me know. Again, you can always call me back what you think about AMD and its potential to bounce off these lows as we go into earnings. All right. Yes, indeed. BLDP, Ballard Power Systems. Ballard Power Systems in the low threes right now, mid threes, 360 right now, up 5%. Cracking that 50 RSI line, showing some positivity. Again, these small companies, they can really, be value type plays when everything else seems to be falling apart. These small cap companies may be able to be what you need to escape the pouring rain of any losses across the exchanges. BLDP, 5.6% gain today. Not bad. It's been a long time since I've checked up on BLDP. If you guys remember, they're the company that sells that renewable energy power system where it reads the ocean waves and the turbines spin and generate power, right? And generate power to power up cities or factories or things like that. So very interesting, what's the word? Invention or product that they're selling there at Ballard Power Systems. All right. Did I ever cover LFIN? No, I didn't cover LFIN. It was interesting because LFIN ran last week. LFIN, there was some people say it was a fake article. I don't think it was. I think it was legit. They said they wanted to. Right. LFIN joins Russell 2000 Index, and that was really interesting that news came out because LFIN, you remember, was caught up in that Bitcoin controversy several months ago where the CEO, got that work. He got that work there on CNBC. Guy literally blurted out the fact that he thought his company was worth only $5 and blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, LFIN ran on that news that they were joining the Russell 2000. But, you know what traders do. They get caught up into the excitement. LFIN had several days going into this month and of this month going higher today, though. Boy, that came crashing down. As you see, LFIN, big sell-off, down 16% today, $11 on LFIN as that went lower. Boy, LFIN falling apart there. That's ugly. That is ugly. All right. CELZ had major news regarding patents. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at CELZ regarding patterns. All right, OTC stock up 154% on CELZ. Not familiar with the stock.
Perfect.
But I'll give it to you, bro. I'll give it to you. Let's look at the chart on the hourly. And as you can see here, man, this has been a nice run. Obviously, end of the day, I'm not going to put that doji in the calculations, but this is a beautiful run. CELZ, these penny stocks, you really have to take these, even intraday, you got to take a higher time frame to kind of see the move. And, CELZ, really nice move here. I mean, even a 5 minute, yeah, there he goes. Wouldn't really go anything less than 5 minute on an OTC stock. But I don't do that really with any other stock intraday. But CELZ, nice move. I mean, even from the morning, as you can see here, can I put even a 10? Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. So even a 10 moving average, that's a nice hold. And that's a 10 and 20 crossover. And as you can see here, that was a nice play today on CELZ. Kind of got faked out there by that MACD, unless the MACD is something where we got some diversion going on here. This could fall apart tomorrow. So be very interested here and how the MACD is showing here on that 5 minute. But again, I go up to those, higher time frames. You can see here still looking pretty good on that higher time frame. CELZ is the ticker. All right. Yes, indeed. DSGT. Let's keep a look at it. DSGT, 41, almost 41% gain today. DSGT, I don't know anything about the company. Give me a call, 305-600-2896. You brought it up, Red Rides. Let me know. Setting itself up for a breakout for the month, if it can make it. But nice gain today on that stock. 100 million shares traded. Boy, that float's got to be pretty big. But still, nice gain today. 41% gained on DSGT. DSGT. All right. This is Trading View, WFKS. This is Trading View. All right. There it is. Let's keep it going. LGCY. LGCY. Legacy reserves. I'm not familiar with legacy reserves. LP. You know, these limited partnerships, they trade kind of funny. I mean, they trade kind of funny, but, there are limited partnerships out there. You see them a lot in oil and gas sectors because they're multiple companies under one ticker. Many of them small, can't trade, or, are a part of the business in some way where some of the owners get really, get interest in the underline. So you're going to have to let me know about these LGCYs, but I'm not familiar with limited partnerships and how these units trade. All right? Yes, indeed. All right. So you guys give me those tickers. Give me those tickers. Let me see what you guys are looking at. Because I already showed you what I'm looking at. And again, check out my website, Advanced Equity Research. Don't get caught like many of you did back in February. You want to be a part of any sell-off. You want to be a part of any sell-off because you can make money doing that as well. If the market goes down, you can make money. You don't have to be out of the market. You don't have to short. You don't have to short. All right? I know Cali Rob came in here and gave you the ticker. And Cali Rob, give me that ticker again. Was it I think it was like SPXU or something like. No, I gave this one. It was another one that you gave. I think, and that was a way to also go short, I believe. SPXS. Okay, SPXS. Yeah, there it is. That's another. Okay. So that's basically another institution's version of that SP. Direction Daily S&P 500 Bear. That's a 3-time leverage. That's also a nice one too. That's a nice one too. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, as you can see, these were stocks in 2017. Guys could short, or why even do that? Just go ahead and buy the long version. But SPXU, nice trade, right? If this goes all right, look at what it did at that pullback back in February. From some of those lows. Look at that insane crossover. Let me put that because I want to show you what this thing did here. I want to show you what this thing did here on that cross. Look at this beautiful. What was that? From 24 to a high of 34. That's $10 a share. And by the way, many of these ETFs do have options. They're not as liquid, so I'd probably, unless you're playing with some very light size, I probably wouldn't go in the options market with an ETF that's leveraged like this and that isn't as popular, right? Even though this puts up 8.2 million shares, I didn't see that crazy tight float that you would see on like a QQQ or SPY or a DIA. I don't see that. There's also other ways to play it on the industrial side. The short the Dow 30, you can also do that as well. SDOW is another way to go long, all right? SDOW I don't believe is leveraged. I don't believe you might want to check that, but I don't believe it's leveraged on SDOW. Of course, going long, you can go UDOW, awesome winner for 2017, right? As you can see here, the 2017 chart is insane. Yeah, that's absolutely insane for 2017. Sorry, at 47 to a high of 115. 47 to 115. That's an insane number. Insane number. All right. Let me see. This new Gen guy is, I think he's reading the old. Let me see here. He's got to catch up to where we are now. Looks like he's behind. All right, let's keep it going. SSC, 7 stars cloud group, 20% gain. SSC, for superintelligence produced utility token. I'm seeing something about tokens here. You know, I'm not a big fan of the Bitcoin, but it looks like this company came out with some kind of utility token for the crude oil index. They announced, quote unquote, the world's first digital asset issuance for trading of crude oil. Yeah, just be aware of that. I mean, it's a $2 stock. This would be something you would see a company like this do. All right. Oh, look at it. We're doing some kind of Bitcoin oil thing. I always take that kind of bullshit with a grain of salt. But still, very bullish candlestick, though. I mean, you know, got some buyers here. And we understand how, you know, that kind of talk can still, you know, bring in buyers. I know, unfortunately, that kind of talk can still bring in buyers. And as you can see here, SSC with a 20% gain on that news. On that news. All right. Yeah, that's a nice looking play. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's a nice looking play. You know, that RSI is the truth. I mean, look at that over the last couple of days. You know, there's been some buyers here. You still got quite a bit of red in there, but, you know, you can have red days, you know, red candles on green days. I figure that's part of that. You know, volume isn't the greatest, but, you know, the trend is moving higher. You go from some one of these lows, those 140 lows, to now you're at $2, well over $1, you know, over the period of, just a period of a month. So SSZ putting on some value here. Putting on some value here. GBTC. That should go lower. We should see GBTC finally touch single digits. I mean, this is a, you know, an investment trust. It was probably I think it actually was the first to trade on the markets. They couldn't get on the NASDAQ or NYSE, so they went OTC markets. And if you remember, before the reverse split, this was a stock that, you know, traded from $100 to as high as $800 a share at one point, before eventually selling off after we know what happened back in January, right? December, the top up there, and you know, reverse split a few weeks ago, and now, you know, fighting for its life as Bitcoin continues to sell off. So GBTC looking like a good short. And what's sad is that, you know, we didn't get an inverse for Bitcoin. I was kind of surprised, but I could understand where would they get the paper from? You know, what would be the underline? What would back the inverse, right? So even inverse, they're backed by something. They're actually real positions, and you know, you just can't do it. You just can't do it. Because nobody wants to take on that risk for the most part. GBTC. There it is. So will it get the bounce off the 200? I don't think so, bro. I think, you know, it is what it is. And as you can see here, we hit the 200. I think you go lower tomorrow, especially if Bitcoin continues to sell off. And last I check, you know, let's look at the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin USD. Yeah, you're still selling off. You're still selling off. You're at 78.98 right now. I can still mark that if you ever get back to 11,000 and break out, I'll participate. But that looks like that isn't going to happen anytime soon. As you can see here, beautiful. Man, I remember these days, right? Going into the holidays and watching Bitcoin do what it was doing. And now, as you can see here, Bitcoin below the 200 moving average, and just showing a lot of weakness, man. Just showing a lot of weakness, and just really fighting for its life. Just really fighting for its life. Sad to say, and sad to see, you know, because I remember the conversations people were having at this level. Could it go to Bitcoin 25,000, 50,000, Bitcoin 100,000? All right. I remember going to Boyce Watkins. Some of you guys may remember Boyce Watkins' Facebook group. You know, you go back to his Facebook group back in like January, December, or no, actually November, December. You make one post and that shit had like 200 comments in 5 minutes. Now you go in there, it's dead. It's like everybody's gone. I mean, there are people in there, but it's not what it was back in November and December. His crypto group. Yeah, Boyce was talking about it every day, dude. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Now you don't even hear him mention that shit. He got everybody in there at the top, bro. He's a good dude, though, yes. I fucks with Boyce Watkins, and I hope to get on his network soon. You know, I need to send him an email and let him know what I'm doing up here. I fucks with Boyce Watkins, man. Yeah. Good dude. All right. Let's keep it going. DNR, nice conservative gains. Yeah, look out for look out for oil and gas, man. Look out for oil and gas. I mean, crude prices, you know, I posted this today on Twitter too, where a guy was on CNBC today during the day. He was talking about, you know, crude could be going higher and whatnot. And I believe some companies like a DNR would benefit and are benefiting from higher crude prices. But when we start talking about an Exxon and you start talking about these large multinationals that are being undermined by terrorist groups and failed states, I think that's a different kind of question. But when you're talking about DNR and some of these small, you know, continental, you know, oil and gas plays or regional oil and gas plays, yes. And I think $65, $70 barrel of oil does huge for them. All right, here we are seeing DNR at 4.8%. Also, take a look at another one. Different kind of company, Dominion Energy. This is oversold. This is an oversold. I've been watching this stock. You had a green day today, but I'd love to see, you know, a confirmation of that return to its bullish nature. All right, and Bats, if you're still watching, I want you to look at this one, man. You had brought this up to our attention about a week and a half ago, and I kept it on my watch list, and I've still been watching it. And Dominion Energy, large cap company, you know, huge market cap, 40 billion plus, great PE. I mean, it's an energy company, dividend paying, been around for a long time, you know. So you know, it's had its earnings, it had a sell off. So you know, just would be interesting to see what your take is on something like that. Interesting play. But yes, those small cap stocks like DNR, you know, if you're enjoying profits on them, continue to do so, man. Continue to do so. All right, because that's going to be a winner for those kind of you know, higher gas prices is going to be a winner for those kind of plays. All right, and I think yeah, here we have UCO, and I'm still watching UCO, which is the ETF, ProShares ETF for crude. And again, here's another one where crude, I'm waiting for that breakout, which is that 2865 level. That 2865 level represents a 2-year resistance level going back to 2016. So that's big time, you know. Wow, that's a big time play for crude. So I'm going to continue to watch that. We're seeing across the board how commodities are starting to run, and that's where you see that, you know, that kind of action is where you see, you know, stocks before they sell off. People start buying commodities. They start buying, you know, crude. They start buying the intangibles, right? That's what you see in bear markets. So it's going to be telling. I'm telling you guys right now, this week, next week, these next 2 weeks, 3 weeks are probably some of the most important days for the exchange for the rest of the year. Right? I honestly believe that because we're going to make or break it. Either we're going to test some some recent highs and fail them and come right back down, or we're just going to keep going right back down. But something's got to give here. If you've got a different opinion, please give me a call, because I want to know the reason we go higher here. Besides the fundamentals haven't changed and they're putting up great numbers. Well, I mean, there's got to be more than that. What's going on, Wande Casa? Not bad. DNR not bad. No one told me that. Yeah, DNR is a nice little play. Nice little small cap oil company. They're quite a bit out there, man. So do your research. There are quite a bit of them. These little small cap, oil and gas plays, that are really dirt cheap, that a lot of people don't trade, that you can ride the wave higher, as many of these companies are run specifically on that crude price. Russia? And don't know too much of anything about what's going on in Russia or anything like that, so not my kind of ETF. Pretty low volume as well. You said GIS was the first. Yeah, General Mills. General Mills was interesting. This is another one we brought up last week. Another after earnings sell-off kind of type play. The market was, the stock was already doing quite poorly from the last go-around of earnings. It looks like it's missed. Well, actually, the last one was actually pretty good. But look, the stock sold off. And I think you could be, let's get the confirmation of that bullish nature tomorrow. Let's see if it's the real deal. Low RSI play. So as you can see here, this is probably where you'd want to get in, at these levels. Not the cheapest stock in the world, but even on the weekly, boy, I love that weekly chart. Here on the weekly, setting up real nicely. And this is only the first day of that weekly. So as you can see, that candlestick is building. But, that's a great way to start the week. Tell you that right now. That's a great way to start the week. As you saw, last week was a pretty tough week for GIS. Sold off pretty aggressively. Stock lost almost $6 a share. So traders looking to pick that up off the floor and possibly get, $1, $2, $3 worth of value picking GIS off those lows. The sanctions on Russia. They can definitely have an effect. I know I have thought about taking a position and let me see that leveraged. Let me go ahead and pull that up here. Because there's a leveraged. Let me pull that ticker up because off the top of my head, I haven't remembered because I just looked at it today. And it's one of those directions that's doing the reverse split. So I'm kind of waiting for that to happen, although I don't need to. But I understand how a trade war, if that happens, or even if it doesn't happen, just the fact that we start selling off, if that happens, how that could look and play to an emerging economy. And what I love about EDZ really has quite a bit of exposure to the BRICS. If you don't know the BRICS, they're a conglomerate of companies, or not of companies, of countries that are kind of in between third world and first world, if there's, if I can explain it that way. So you're talking about Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and India. I believe that I in BRICS stands for. And that's basically the kind of exposure you get in EDZ. And I like what the weekly chart is showing here. And again, I don't know what the market is going to do, but when I look at the daily charts, right, this is something that's really, this is the bear version. So this is I'm thinking it's going to go higher because the market has come down. And when I look at the weeklies, when I look at, the monthly chart, and I'm looking at the overall economy, and I'm saying, okay, where's this economy going? If people really start asking those questions, I want to be at the bottom of some of these ETFs, these bear ETFs that are, have been beat up and could be affected the most. All right. And again, I'm putting these out there just for the guys who don't want to short, But, those of you option traders, you want to possibly look into, taking some of those verticals about, hey, where could this stock be at by this level? Looking at a chart saying, wow, this is 30, 40, 50% from, the 200 moving average. What could that do to a Netflix? What could that do to a Netflix when we're looking at Netflix, 218. Here's 218. That's Netflix trading at $320 a share. What could a bear market do to something like this? That's quite a bit of, meat on that bone that could very well get taken off. And nobody would complain, right? Mm-hmm. We've already seen, Facebook oversold here. It wasn't even that far off. But when we look at the ones with a lot of meat, you got to look at Netflix. You got to look at Amazon. Some people may say that's justified. I believe that's a Death Star on its own planet. Baba, right? Baba could be another one we could see sell off. Baba also showing a bit of weakness here on Baba. All right, showing a bit of weakness here on Baba. That chart on Baba doesn't look as great as it did back on, this time last year. Baba is showing a little bit of weakness there. All right. Do I think X will make a comeback? Remember the thing about the thing that Trump signed, it's going to take at least 2 quarters, bro. It's going to take at least 2 quarters for that to really hit the bottom line. It's going to take at least 2 quarters for that increase, I won't say not the word profit, but that increased traffic, that increased business, right? That is going to come to a new core or a U.S. Steel. That's going to take some time to show up. Pete is moving Spotify hacked. Yeah, everybody's getting ready for Spotify. When is Spotify supposed to go public? Spotify could be a really nice one because, that's a company, last I checked, they put up about $4 billion worth of revenue. Spotify's the real deal, man. Spotify's the real deal. You just had another company go public, Dropbox. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dropbox is, here's Dropbox. It's only been 2 days. They went public Friday. Dropbox, let me tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Dropbox is GoPro 2.0. All right. GoPro 2.0. You had a nice day today, right? Everything was up today. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Dropbox retests that $29 open and fails it, you're going to have another GoPro on your hands. Another company that went public a little bit too late, a little bit after all the excitement, and it goes lower. You got to understand, only 2% of their customers actually pay. Only 2% of their customers actually pay. For the most part, everybody's got the free account. And most of you in here would agree that you used to fuck with Dropbox, 2012? 2012? I remember using Dropbox, 2012, 2011, 2013-ish. Every time I go into my Dropbox, and it's been maybe over a year since I've been in there, it's like old-ass photos, like 2010, and I'm like in the Navy or some shit like that. It's old photos, right? Dropbox was what you used when you didn't, because at the time USBs were expensive. Data for your phone was expensive, and when memory cards, there we go. Memory cards were for your phone was expensive, so you kind of uploaded it to Dropbox. All right. And the whole idea of a cloud was new. This idea of being able to access your files and pictures and folders anywhere in the world. Dropbox was that introduction for a lot of people. I can't wait till they put out options. Absolutely, John. Me and you are seeing the right. You know, we're just eye to eye on that, man. Eye to eye on that. Absolutely. I don't know when the options go live, but, you know, I think you just grab, you know, you grab some in the money with some time on them, and I think you get proven right. I think you get proven right. All right. And then I also read how the insiders, they're in long at $1 a share. $1 a share. Can you imagine? Going into this company at $1 a share and it went public, you instantly, depending on how much you got, you instantly became a millionaire, 100 millionaire. You know, so congrats to them. Another company I wanted to talk about, Google. Google bouncing off that 200 on Friday. Nice way to pick up Google today. And Google selling off on that Facebook bullshit that's going out. Facebook, Google, you know, there's so many haters, man. There's big time haters out there. And, you know, I keep telling you guys, this market is so fucking rigged. And I'm going to keep saying that. You know, you see that show Billions. Everything that happens is just so true on that. Not saying that I have some inside information or anything, not at all. But, you know, I just feel like sometimes art in real life can really cross paths, and they're telling us things that, you know, that really happened. You know, and what's going on in Google and Facebook right now, where people are just blowing this shit up way too far, way too far. You know, MSFT made some gains today. Yeah. MSFT, you know, it's really interesting to see Microsoft trading where it was, man. How many of you guys were trading when Microsoft was like a $25 stock that never moved? You guys remember that? I remember in high school, you know, because I've always known about stocks, but, you know, didn't know how to trade it the right way. And Microsoft, yeah, this is the years. Microsoft was like that 25, yeah, there it is right here. These were the years. Was that $25, $30 stock that never did anything. I mean, it just never did anything. And it seems like 2013, they finally like broke out and really started doing some things here. 2013. And 2013, I think they had got out of they were still in the phone business in 2013, but they were waning. They were, by then, you know, Android was setting itself apart, iPhone too, and they were a laggard on the phone space. They eventually got out of the phone space. I think they just got out like 2 years ago. But Microsoft, way to turn things around, got into the cloud and many other lines of businesses as well. 517, you're on the air. What's up?
Hey, Sal, Shar.
Hey, Shar, what's going on?
I got a question. I got that TOPS.
Okay.
They did a reversal, like a 110 or whatever. I had 30 shares, no big deal. But anyhow, they have, like, I got 3 shares now.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
But E-Trade, I'm with E-Trade, and they're charging me like $34 or something for this trade.
They're charging you $34 to do what? To sell it, or?
No, because they did a split or something. TOPS did. You'd have to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
It's only 3 shares. I'm like, what the heck? I've never seen this before.
Well,
I'm sure you have.
Well, first of all, what are they charging you for, and where does the charge come from? Did you try to do an order or something?
No, I had this stock for a while. It was 30 shares. Mm-hmm. And then they did a reversal, like a 110 split, like, so it was like for 30 shares, so I got 3 shares. So they did like 10, you know what I'm talking about?
I got you.
So E-Trade's charging me $34 and something for this trade.
Okay.
And they're saying 1 share is like $13.99. right now.
Uh-huh.
But it's only selling for going for like $2 or something right now. Tops. You'd have to look at it.
Okay. All right. Donzel Essex in the chat room is saying it's a fee that they charge. Okay. I'm not familiar with the
Me neither. I'm like, what the hell? I got to pay $34 for what?
Damn. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember I was with E-Trade for at least 2 years. I don't remember a $34 charge for reverse
$34 and like 49 cents or something stupid.
Okay.
Because
I would call and ask them about that, man. Maybe you can get that because they're pretty liberal over there at E-Trade. And hey, look, I'm a beginner. I don't trade that much. I mean, I didn't know where this was coming from. Blah blah blah. I would talk to them. I mean, they're pretty liberal over there. See if you can, get that taken care of. Maybe even get that reversed.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like really weird. I've only got 3 shares, and they're going to charge me that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I got another thing. Did you hear about, what is it, APQ, the pot stock, the number 6 and whatever on the weed stock thing, QX or whatever, where they were doing inside trades for NUU Navira or whatever it is?
No, I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and that's bringing the weed down because of that. I'm like, what the heck's happened today?
Yeah.
I'll give you the ticker. I got it written down. I'll give you the ticker.
Yeah, give me that. Let me see.
I think it's, I got it. Okay, I got it. I know it's I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Because you got to know this one. This is funny because this here brought like a lot of stuff down. The hemp will probably go up.
Yeah, let me see what you're talking about.
This one here, APHQE.
Cute.
I think it's an R at the end, maybe, or a fire, or whatever they call it again. APHQER.
I have
it's a big one. It's like
I have an APHQF. It's going for $10.
Yeah, it's not crashing now. They were doing that's it.
Okay.
Is that a fire, whatever they call it?
Let me see here. Okay, yeah, insiders disclose.
They were doing inside trading.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, don't know too much about this company. I'll look into it. But these OTC stocks, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. If they're involved in any kind of criminal activity or anything like that. Many of these companies are led by, people who tend to sometimes be desperate for cash.
Yeah.
They're independently
you're
wealthy.
Playing
they're
little.
just looking for another way to kind of get into the double-digit millionaire club, and unfortunately that they can end up doing things that they shouldn't. Wow, interesting case here.
Yeah, I got real busy this week. I'm like, well, I'm getting hit. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But hemp's pretty good. Jeff Sessions did good for hemp. HEMP.
Yeah, he's on the job.
Be a good one to look into.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the call.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for the call and for watching. I appreciate you so much. I'm not surprised, when I hear stuff like that. I mean, insider trading. A lot of guys think they're going to get away with that, but, there's always somebody watching, man. There's always somebody watching. Just when you think, you're by yourself, no one would see it. No one saw that email. No one saw that text. No one saw that purchase. No one saw you make that call and give that insider tip. Someone did, Someone did. Absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate you guys liking the new setup. I think this is cool, man. This is a cool little new thing that I'm going to be doing from now on. I think it shows the ticker a little bit better, and it shows a bigger, fuller picture. Those of you guys who got the wide screens and whatnot, or if you're using it on your phone, and this is what we're going to be doing from now on. So I just hate now I can't wear a green shirt. So, but other than that, yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look. All right. OTC 3000 is my ticker, or is my Twitter. OTC 3000. Jeff, I saw Jeff with a silver play. USLV is another exchange traded note. Is an exchange traded note, silver plate, very similar to SLV, but I know, Jeff, I think you're playing options. So if you're playing options, SLV makes sense. If you're playing straight stock, then I think you play USLV for that huge move higher if you believe silver is going to be moving up. Silver up 2.9% today on USLV on that one. I again, gold, when you talk about the commodities, I'll play gold just because that moves a bit more aggressively compared to silver. But hey, money is money no matter where you're looking for it. So gold or silver, if the market sells off, they're both going to be commodities that you're going to be able to make some good money in. Good money in. He said, Megan's not going to make a talking head. That's hilarious. All right. What's the orange and blue on the MACD? Well, that's just the MACD line. Which one's positive or which one's negative? That's all. That's all. All right. That's all on that one. And that line works better if I zoom in a little bit better so you can see a little bit clearer. But as you can see here, gold doing some things, man. Gold is really doing some things. And shout out to Peter Schiff. You might want to listen to him for those of you guys who are short bias like I am. If you're short bias like I am, you love Peter Schiff. Sometimes he can be a little bit out there, but it's really interesting to see conservatives like him and a lot of the pundits on TV really, turn on Donald Trump after what happened on Friday. Man, they've really turned on him, dude. They really were expecting him not to sign that bill, and they didn't see what I saw in him and what made me vote for him, because at the end of the day, he's an independent that spends money like a liberal, and that's just what it is. That's just what it is. All right. GLD breaking out higher. And now as sentiment changes, what does that mean for the overall markets? What do I think about Robinhood? You both have TD and Robinhood. You like Robinhood more, but it's constantly clowned on by others. Well, I mean, fuck what other people think, man. It's your money, bro. Fuck what other people think. It's your money. Robinhood is a great place to put your money. It's fast executions. They just recently announced option trading. The options is kind of a little bit weird and funny on it, but, it works. It works. I love how Robinhood gives you very visual indications of whether you're in the money and making money, or when you're losing. You get that red screen, right? So that red screen shows up and it's like, God damn, So I like Robinhood, and when a beginner is talking to me and I can tell it's not somebody who's going to be going in every day and trading, I tell them, go get get Robinhood. And if that's a type of guy who's just going to put in a couple $100 and see what's going to happen and how things work, I put them on Robinhood, and I haven't had anybody complain. Yeah. He said the website is live too. Oh, I didn't know the website is live. I'll have to check out the website. I didn't know that they have a website on now. Robinhood is a good look. They're traders who use Robinhood who have 25,000 plus. For example, if you remember the guy Nick from Bull Trade Finder, he's got a $55,000 account at Robinhood, and we had some conversations off air. I was like, man, are you comfortable using that kind of money on a platform like that? He's like, yeah, man, I do my charts on TradingView. He uses TradingView like I do, and then I just kind of put them in on Robinhood, and that's what he does. So, and now especially where they got the website, and if that's live, like the guy is saying, I can see how Robinhood can make sense for somebody. It's free. No PDT rule. Once you cross that 25,000 and it's free, you got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose, right? How many times? Sal, Jay-Z owns Robinhood, does he? I would have heard about that. He may have a percentage. He may have a percentage. I think we would have heard about that if Jay-Z owned Robinhood. Your stop loss game stucks. You try to bounce at 5, no more than 20%. Oh, he owns. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he owns a percentage. You know, they try to kick. You know, those kind of companies. You know, they try to. You know, kick a percent or two to the popular Negro just to say, hey, you know, we got Jay-Z on our team. You know what I mean? That's kind of what that shit is. You know, that's kind of what that. You know. Hey, Diddy. You know, hey, we got Diddy. He's on our board. You know, I don't put too much stock in that kind of bullshit. David Lincoln, StockTwits, who owns most of it. Howard Linson from StockTwits owns most of it. Okay, appreciate you, David. Hey, David, do you want to call up and talk about the VIX, bro? Do you want to call up and talk about the VIX, particularly TVIX? Because I want your take on whether or not TVIX, let me see here, TVIX is actually worth, you know, is this worth a long-term hold? Is this like, because I'm looking at the VIX at 9, right? I mean, I'm saying, because I've always believed TVIX under 9 is a buy. You know what I mean? Anything TVIX sub 9, that's automatic buy and hold, and you know you're in profit either the next day or a week or you know you're gonna be in profit really soon. Sub 9 TVIX. So if you've got a moment, David, I'd love if you kind of call up and explain the product, and then kind of like why to trade it. You said you can't today, you call in tomorrow if you like. Okay, David, that's cool. That's cool. All right, David. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll because I'd love to have you on and explain that, bro. Just a few minutes of your time. I don't want to take up all your time. I know you're busy and you got your own things going on. But, yeah, 5-10 minutes of your time. Just explain to my audience. I would really appreciate that. Yeah, tomorrow, just give me a call. I appreciate you. Thank you, Monk Man. You said you can give your phone. You may be on. Yeah, I think so. I like TVIX. I mean, I'm looking at the weekly. I'm looking at the monthly. I mean, and this is, look, this is across the board the marketplace. When you're looking at any of these, you know, really beat up ETNs, these ETFs. You know, I pulled up the one for the emerging market. I pulled up ones for silver, for gold, for all these that now are showing signs of life going in the other direction. Going in the other direction. You know, this is if you're someone who's a permabull, this is not the kind of thing you want to see. This is not the kind of thing you want to see. You know, we're setting up now going into the third month. Going into the third month, this is the monthly chart of positive momentum going into the TVIX. You know, hard day today, right? I mean, it lost 14%. That's a tough day. That's a tough day. But, you know, this is your discount. This is your discount for the guys who got a little bit more patience. And I've said it, sub 9 is a buy. Kayak Z, we did talk AKER. It's an incredible play, sitting above the 200 moving average. Keep going. AKER is nice. Keep going. He said John Rambo. Yeah, I said the same thing, John, for a stock that is undergoing what's called insider trading. I mean, the chart is actually holding up pretty well because, typically something like that thing comes down like, a piece of paper wrapped over bricks. Adrian T back in January. TVIX was in the low 4s or 5s. That's what I'm saying, Adrian T. That's what I'm saying. We're not getting those 4s and 5s. That the VIX will never be back at 4 or 5 again. Period. Those 4s, TVIX 4s, TVIX 5s are gone. That's never coming back. Period. I can say that. Tomorrow's never guaranteed, but I can say right now, TVIX will never be. That day is gone. That day is gone. He said, how often do they reverse split? Well, I mean, if we stay under these sub 10s and the VIX, it does risk possibly a reverse split. That's typically what happens is when they get to these sub 10 levels. But as you see here, the VIX, they allowed it to go to the 4s, 3s. I mean, it was out here for a while. I mean, this is almost, this is quite a while here. So, and it also depends on who's running. This is from Credit Suisse. I know the Spider company that runs Spider, Direction, those are ones that are going to, slap on some reverse split. This is a European company, Credit Suisse Bank. They may have some different outlooks on it. So it kind of depends on who's running the fund. Is there a charge for it to split once it reaches that low level? We had a caller today said that they get a charge. I've never gotten a charge. I've never gotten a charge. So that was news to me. And she got a $34 charge. For a reverse split. I've never heard that. AYTU. We had Ken brought this up today. AYTU. Nice candlestick. I mean, as you can see here, I mean, it's far away from any real moving average, that I can really say pay attention to it. So I love the move here. Here's the 10 moving average. The float's got to be low as hell. You're going to have to do your research on it. I see they put some news out here on the 20th. All right, so it's kind of moving like a PRED. You guys remember that ticker? Kind of moving like a PRED where we're kind of picking it off the floor like that. That's kind of what it looks like to me. If you remember PRED, very similar kind of play where we were just really kind of picking it up off and it just started moving really aggressively as it started rising in value. But very similar looking chart. Very similar looking chart where you're starting at that lows and now starting to build up. As you can see here, this is the daily chart. You're only at 39 on the RSI. You're still below the 50, so you've got insane amount of upside above you. So looking at it, I wouldn't put a lot into it because I don't know if it's a pump and dump. But you got a lot of upside potential. You got a lot of upside potential there. I can't deny that. You got a lot of upside potential there on AYTU. Everybody made money in Pred. If you got in when I told you to, everybody made money in Pred. Everybody sold with profits. When you got in when I told you to and you sold when I told you to, you made money. Period. At least 200%. At least 200%. You can go back on the video and see the date I told you to buy in and where it went at the top. You made at least 200% on your money. How does DIS go down after breaking records at the box office? Let me see here. Disney. Well, Disney is not just a movie company. Disney is not just a movie company. I mean, Disney, it's the parks, it's music. Disney's got some music as well. I mean, so Disney's an entertainment company. But yeah, they did knock it out with Black Panther. But look, that money's gotta go to a lot of different hands. And I don't know what, at the end of the day, Disney keeps. They keep a lot of it. But, at the end of the day, man, the market always tells the truth eventually. And right now, you do have a slight sell-off. But again, everybody, rising waters, raises all boats. And as you see here, Disney with a 2.1% gain today on the market. Not bad. So I'm going to get up out of here. We still got, it's still heavy up in here for 11:30. Shit. Got quite a bit of people in here. God damn, that's what's up, man. Got these traders going hard and heavy in the paint with me. I appreciate all of y'all. So tomorrow I'm going to be, paying close attention to, these indexes and whether or not, we start to show continued, buying weakness. If we start to sell off, we go red to green or green to red. All right. If we start doing any kind of funny business like that. Today was an unusual day because we had light volume, but everybody was a buyer. And it's going to be interesting to see how things move forward, man. I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be a very interesting week. Our country's got some serious things wrong with our financial picture, and we can't keep running from it. We've had it really good over the last 7-8 years, since 2007, 2008, with that Band-Aid. But things. Let me see SPY. Here it is. Here's SPY, man. And here's SPY. Let's look at the weekly. SPY. Let's spread it back. 200 moving average. SPY, as you see here, here's 2007, 2008. Here's 2008. We were below that 200 moving average. We were a lot closer. See, we were a lot closer. Back in 2007, 2008 to that moving average. So look, we got a lot of meat on this bone that could get taken off that, man. There's a lot of meat on this bone, man. This is the weekly. So as you can see here, we're already seeing negative sentiment showing on the weekly. RSI breaking below that 50 RSI line, but fighting it with today's move. That's just today, though. I mean, so it's developing. It's developing. All right, this is today, but that's the whole week. But we only had one day underneath that. Yeah, no, Freyat said today's this week is a shortened week too as well. That's correct. It is a shortened week. Yeah. So you want to learn how to trade options? There are a ton of videos out there. On that. Check out one of my good friends who runs Option Alpha. He's got a free course, optionalpha.com. All right. But like I said, you don't have to, if options is not your thing, you don't like the risk, dude. There these inverse ETFs there. You don't have to miss the move, long or short. You don't even have to short. You don't have to buy you don't have to buy options, but especially if you're not someone who's feeling that moves like that. All right? Yeah, there's a lot of meat on this bone, man. There's a lot of meat on this bone. I mean, look how far we are from that 200. We're over $44. $44 away from that, 200 moving average. $44. So it's time to come to mama. Time to come to mama on that. You said you trade ETFs only right now. So then so you already know about inverse ETFs and all that, and leveraged ETFs, and the kind of profits you can make trading those levels. All right. Corey Seals, you said you made $1,200 with Facebook today. Yeah, a lot of people killed it on Facebook if you bought those lows, those 140 lows, those 150 lows. And you're going to kill it tomorrow, I suspect, too. Because that hammer ticker that we saw on Facebook today, that's a buy signal. All right? I'd wait because it's not really moving unless you're trying to get it on the low. I was talking about it last week. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think, anybody buying options on Facebook, as long as you got some time on that thing, I think you're sitting pretty over the course of a period of time. But right now they got, the media against them. They got everybody on damn near TV against them. My privacy, my privacy, my privacy. Your personal information. Shut the fuck up, man. I can't stand that shit. I can't stand that shit. These are guys who are coming on TV talking about privacy and blah, blah, blah. And they're signing up for websites for call girls and all that kind of shit. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Fuck out of here, dude. All right. I'm gonna see if I missed anything. Again, those of you guys who didn't see the show, as I said here, I'm looking at the real estate investment trust that are showing a lot of weakness. All right, we're below the 200. This is a very similar move we saw back 2008. All right, and then we tried to re-challenge it. It didn't. It failed, and we went straight down. Now here's the first time since 2008. Here we are back beneath that 200 moving average. Real estate showed it first. Real estate showed it first, and now we're challenging, 2015, 2016 lows. 2015, 2016 lows. And that's not to say, because I saw somebody said, oh, well, it could be the fact that Fed rose rates. Well, I mean, we had rate increases. It's not that there weren't any rate increases. There were rate increases, for the last, 5 or 10 years or whatever it was since then. But this is the real deal. As we see here, we're fighting for, this is 2015. August of 2015 low here that we're fighting to stay above. And we could break below that. And, again, that's not the only one. VNQ, RWR, right? That's another one. That's the spider. ETF, Real Estate Investment Trust. That's another big one. All right? So just be aware. Just be aware. You said your damn TV collects data. Absolutely. Everything you do collects data, man. These guys are just, as I said on that Twitter, man, Blue Horseshoe hates Anacott Steel. They're playing a game, man. They're playing a game. And they took that money off Facebook because it was an easy target. Privacy concerns. Oh, I'm getting investors scared. CNBC. Because many of those folks are in on that shit too. And by the way, I was just thinking, man, some of these people on CNBC, they've been there for 10, 15, 20 years. Let me tell you something right now. You can't get me to work at CNBC for 10, 15, 20 years and not take any kind of positions. They must not be allowed to trade because, if I'm on CNBC and I got the CEO of Cisco, Facebook, Amazon, all these people coming in my face every other day, and I'm getting information in my face, I'm trading on that information. How the hell have you been working at CNBC for 15 years and you still going to work pitching? Not me. Not me. Not me. Because you've seen personally firsthand the rise of Netflix. Look at Netflix. How many people in here would love to get that, go back in time to 2011 and grab some, what is that, $6 a share? 10.50 a share Netflix. 2011 November. You know, I don't even know what I was doing back then. You know, but I definitely wasn't in the stocks like that. Nowhere near as much as I am now. Boy, look at that thing. That thing crossed the 200 back on the weekly back in January of 2013, dude. Look at this. Back on January of 2013, this thing crossed the 200 moving average, and it has never seen that line ever since. Good Lord. Good Lord. Amazon, 156 a share. Yeah, I talked to my old man about Amazon. I was like, you know, yeah, do you remember hearing about Amazon? And you know, and he told me, he's like, yeah, I remember hearing about it, and you know, but everything was moving. He told me everything was moving so fast. And I don't blame him. I mean, you know, my father, you know, the African immigrant, he didn't know anything about, you know, the stock market and how it works or anything like that. So I don't blame him. But for those of you guys who, you know, got parents who were born and raised in America, you know, I'm thinking like, come on, man, you should have got that. You should have got that shit. But you know, the .com was a crazy time, man. Everything was really moving fast, and you know, unless you had a network or was raised in that kind of, you know, environment where you can get the information, I could see how it could just go right past you and you didn't see it. Yeah, Amazon, all that shit, man, all that shit. But look, it's not too late, man. There's an Amazon and a Netflix right now, around us right now that we can find, and that's why I'm having a show, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, I want to find that Netflix. I want to find that Amazon, right? Or I want to ride these ETFs, you know, or a particular stock, you know, so that I can look back on, you know, years from now and say, good Lord, you know, look what I made, you know. There's another Apple out there. There's another Netflix. There's another all that. You know, I think, you know, when I look at an MU, you know, it's going to cool down a little bit, but that's another one that 58, 55, whatever it is, that, you know, 5, 10, 15 years from now, we could be talking at a $200, $300, $400 or more valuation. MU, right? When we look at Microsoft, you know, Microsoft is another one that, you know, is really taking off. Intel. So there are companies out there, right? There are companies out there that are going to be the Amazons, and when I say, you know, Amazon, Google, whatnot, I'm talking valuation. You know, Microsoft is pretty much already there, but in terms of price. You said BlackBerry. Man, BlackBerry is game over for BlackBerry. I would love to see somebody turn that company around. I was a fan of BlackBerry, and I got in on BlackBerry real late, man. I was, you know, young and fucking dumb, and I went into a Sprint store and signed up and got a BlackBerry Storm. And 4 months later, I threw that shit at a wall because it would constantly freeze, but it was the first BlackBerry that had a touch screen, and it was a nice screen too. But it was a disastrous phone. Said it claimed it can't be hacked. Okay. Yeah, I mean, even if it can't be hacked, the adoption now, this is so far back, man. Adoption. I mean, look where Android is. Android is global now. Android is so global. You know, how do you just stop and say, okay, I'm not going to fuck with, and Android is so, you can manipulate it, you can code it, you can, you know, how do you even start now to go back and want to use BlackBerry and create a program around it and create programs for it? Oh, God, I mean, some things just have to stay in the past. Some things just have to stay in the past. for security, red rights. I agree with you. I mean, could there be a segment of the population who are just like, hey, I fuck with BlackBerry? Yeah, why not? Why not? But if we're talking about being on the same level as an Android or an iPhone, I think that's, that time is long past. Said Ripple is a cryptocurrency. Yeah, I can't wait to trade tomorrow, man. I can't wait. I'm already anxious because I just want to see what the market is going to do. Where are we at on the futures right now? Bat Scientist was talking about some of the South African gold miners, and I've been watching US dollar ZAR because, South Africa, largest provider of gold in the world. And, I've been watching it. We're breaking the 3-year low on ZAR. I thought this was actually going to turn around, but we're actually now below that 3-year low on US dollar. So we're seeing the weakness of the US dollar to an African currency. I mean, this is an African currency. This is a country that's going through a lot of things. I mean, incredibly high unemployment. They're going through some land issues right now. The country's really a baby democracy, really is. And here we have the US dollar, faltering, literally falling apart. This is 111. This should be like 150, 160. But when, your money is cheap, you don't pay a lot of interest on your money, this is what happens. An African currency starts beating your ass, An African currency. Now we're getting back to some of these lows. Again, going back to, 2000, 2008, 2012. All right, but crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. BlackBerry is not a company phone. Yeah, you remember BlackBerry was the corporate phone of choice. Now, the security suites on Android and some of these iPhones are just as good. Yeah, right now so far green. Futures are up right now. Futures are up right now. I'm not buying the trap though. We're gonna wait and see. We're gonna wait and see. And, wait and see what that VIX looks like tomorrow. But right now, I'm just going to keep sitting in my Facebook. I posted that on Twitter, so I'm still sitting in Facebook. And that's pretty much what it's going to be for me right now until I get a clearer picture of what this is going to be. If you guys remember, I told you I'm in on Facebook. There's got actually some catching up to do. I've got some catching up to do on because I'm in a red right now, but my calls are for September 21st, so I'm not tripping on it. So, but Facebook, nice gain today. That was good to see some of that red come off there. But love to see it, have a real nice candlestick eventually here. Solid state batteries of the future. HMNY, DRD, GFI, AU. I like that AU call. What if Sal was a beta Google hologram? Well, eventually that's what I would love to do. Eventually, the idea is that I would do this show in VR. And you guys would be watching me in VR, and you'd see my whole physical body, and I'd point to, I'd type AER or something like that, and FB, and then you could actually see the physical chart. I'll do like something with my hand, and next thing you know, you'll see all the fucking candlesticks all up in your face and shit. That would be some badass shit, man. I'd love that. That's the future, though. Oh, and speaking of that. Who's got that technology? Facebook, man. Facebook's got that Oculus, right? Yeah. Facebook's got that Oculus So that say Facebook is a VR play. Come on, man. If this shit ain't rigged, I don't know what is, bro. Come on, man. We're all in the episode of Billions right now when you're talking about this Facebook shit. We're all in an episode of Billions. So HTC has one too. How do you outpace data decay on those calls? Well, you know, here's the thing. That's a bit of an issue, but you know, the fact that the volatility, the implied volatility of a play like Facebook can be so aggressive, especially if we're talking about, you know, or if it happens over, if a move happens over the next couple of days, then I'm not worried about that. DNF Bob, I wouldn't even be worried about that. You know. So because of that high implied volatility, you know, if the move happens sooner rather than later, and it's good news for me that, you know, the market is pointing to a good day tomorrow. So, you know, why not? We have put on another $2 or $3 tomorrow, especially with a candlestick like today. That would be really nice. That would be nice. We'll see. Facebook, you believe, acquired the company that made the Oculus? Yeah, I think that's what they did. Is there ever a good time to play an overnight gap? Ooh, you know, I know Stock God had talked about a gap and go strategy, and I'm not a big fan of playing gap and go movers, unless it's a situation where it's like an earnings winner. You know, then you got that catalyst that kind of brings in the money to keep it going higher. But, you know, if it's some like weak news or just, you know, low RSI gap up, you know, and then it tries to, I'm not a fan of those kind of things. So how do you use overnight data? Well, I mean, just as all you can do is look at the futures and, you know, whether or not, you know, if it's green, then you're talking about a certain implied open, which could mean, you know, a gap up move and the stock continue to run. So, you know, that's just kind of how you use that. All right, especially when you're talking about some of these stocks that kind of move literally candlestick to candlestick with the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, right? You know, but then you got some stocks that unfortunately fall off and lose. For example, Boeing. Boeing is Boeing had a decent day today. It's a $7 move in Boeing, but Boeing had kind of been doing its own thing for the last couple of days. Let's look at Boeing real quick. All right, here's Boeing. You know, Boeing had been kind of doing its own thing for the last couple of days, but Boeing is another one that, you know, I'm watching here to see if it crosses back above that 50, you know, on Boeing, because it could be very nice if it doesn't, right? If it doesn't. Caller, you're on the air. What's up? Oh, hung up on me. Give me a call back. Yeah, but Boeing is another one I'm looking at as a possible target. At this point, I've given up on the idea of Trump doing an infrastructure play. There's no money for it. There's no money for it, and I've given up. He couldn't get the money for the wall, so I already know he doesn't have any more money for airports, highways, or anything like that this summer. Everything that's going to be created, that's pretty much Obama money from last year, from 2 years ago. That's all Obama money, but for the most part, there's no infrastructure play coming down the pipe. I just don't see. I don't know where the money's going to come from. You know, I've given up on it. But Cat, I was really looking forward to Cat for 2018, but now I'm looking at Cat, you know, showing, you know, where it you know, that's another stock that I don't know what's going to happen. All right, I don't know what's going to happen with Cat. You know, here's another one, just really just trying to find out where, you know, what's going to happen. with CAT as that continues to kind of dance, over the last month and a half on CAT. Chipotle, I can't even remember how to pronounce that. CMG. All right, last few tickers, and I'll get you guys up out of here. CMG 327. It's really interesting because CMG was one that, man, every time guys really try to come hard on this one, this finds an opportunity to come back, man. As you see here, it got oversold back toward beginning of February on that poor earnings number. Sold off, and then, boy, look at where it is now. I mean, you're up almost $100. Almost $100 a share, and now you're looking to break that 200 moving average on CMG. Look at that's a good play, man. That's actually a really good play. That's got a lot of upside on that. That's a lot of upside potential on CMG. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's a nice move. That's a nice move. How long till marijuana takes off? Yeah, November probably. I don't know what's up for ballot now, but it seems like, the only two things that could move marijuana now is another state. So let's say if you get like a New York state, if you get legalization in like New York state, that would be huge. If you get Jeff Sessions getting fired or relieved of duty, that would move marijuana stocks. But, other than that, I don't know of anything else. Yeah. See, you have some very wide strangle on CMG. Okay. Cali Rob, MTCH. Then we'll get up out of here. Match.com. They should, this is a nice looking chart, bro. Damn shit. I didn't know Match.com was getting it like that. Here's Match.com on the weekly. Boy, that thing looks like Bitcoin when that, Bitcoin into December. Look at that. If anything, I'm looking at a chart that we got to pop a cork in that one, man, and have that cool down a little bit. But on the daily, it's not so bad, man. On the daily, it's actually not looking so bad. And, as you see here, $16 away from the 200 moving average, and could go very well a lot higher. All right, it could go a lot higher. All right, and this is an interesting play too, because it's not, it's not a commodity-based play. It's not anything like that. It's online dating, and look, if you got subscribers and they're paying and you're adding subscribers, you're completely, you're on a different kind of level. You know what I'm saying? You're not having to deal with whatever's going on in the economy and things like that. But at the end of the day, your customers are still affected by a poor job market or, weak dollar and all that stuff. And I'm sure they have exposure to foreign countries. So that's something you might want to take into account. But as you can see here, Match.com is still doing very, very well. Doing very well. They own Tinder as well. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. A lot of great tickers we talked about today, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll be back, same time tomorrow. Let me go ahead and ring the bell. I hope, let me say not I hope, but I see you guys do enjoy this new setup. Allows you to really see the screen a lot better. And I think it's going to, something that's really going to, hit home in terms of the kind of patterns we're going to start seeing as we, continue to grow with our trading. All right. Let me go ahead and ring the bell. I appreciate all of you guys. Great show tonight. Man, 2 hours. It never feels like 2 hours. I love this shit. It never feels like that. All right. Yes, indeed. You said with the 88 Sugar Hill fade, yeah. I like it nice and low, man. Nice, low, and clean. You know, with that weak Diana brush, you don't have to worry about waves, and then just boom out the door. That's it. Yeah, I like it nice and low, bro. Nice and low with a crispy lineup, bro. Some people call it a shape up, depending on where you live. Appreciate all of you. Jim Gray, thank you, sir. Sure, he said dreadhead. I can grow a fro, though. I can grow a fro. It takes a couple weeks, but I can get there. Bad Scientist, John Rambo, appreciate you. Gucci, Cali Rob, Legendary 8s, Cristile, Londell Carter, appreciate you. Succeeder 82, thank you, sir. Let me see, you putting up a ticker or what? Oh no, that was something else. Appreciate you. Life for a Business, HM, thank you, sir. David Lincoln, hey, you know, I hope you come through tomorrow, because I really would love to have that conversation with you regarding the VIX, man, and I think that would be good info to put out there for the people. Shout out to my callers, Ken, Stock God, Bad Scientist, all the listeners, first time listeners. Please press like on this video, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until tomorrow, Corey Kwan, M1 Gunner, thank you, sir. Stockafella, Gucci. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, be well, happy trading, take care.